Welcome to Anime Bakery. Today, we're diving into Nomad Sculpt's new random repeater feature. Repeaters allow you to create multiple instances of an object using array, curve, radial, and mirror modes. With the addition of randomization, you can now make your sculptures feel more natural and save time in the process. I'll show you how to use each random repeater while creating 3 delicious desserts. In the first example, we will be adding boba jellies to a glass of tea using the array repeater. First, select a boba sphere, go to the scene outliner, click Add, and choose Array from the Repeaters menu. A new array settings bar will appear, allowing you to duplicate the object along 3 axes. Drag to increase the count to 3 in the green axis and 2 in the blue axis, creating a structured array. Adjusting the size changes the distance between each boba along the chosen axis. Since the tea still looks a little empty, I'll increase the count in each direction. Use Gizmo tool to position the whole array group into the tea glass. Now, let's make it look more natural by adding randomness. Clicking Randomize in the settings allows us to tweak the placement. Since I don't want the bobas to change size, I'll uncheck the scale option. The numbers here represent the upper limit of the range within which the randomizer generates variations. Translation refers to the movement or displacement of objects. Let's make the bobas float more naturally by increasing the translation values. If I click this randomized box icon, it generates a new random arrangement each time until I find something I like. Next, let's add ice cubes. I'll select the ice cube, hit Add, and choose Curve Repeater. A control curve appears, and I'll tap in the middle to add another control point. Now, I can drag these points to shape the curve, forming the path for the ice cubes. By increasing the count, they'll distribute along this curve. Just like before, I'll randomize them by unchecking Scale, increasing rotation, and tweaking their position. And there we go, our boba tea is now complete with floating jellies and ice cubes. Now, let's learn to use Spiral Curve Repeater by decorating a swirl ice cream with sprinkles. First, I'll select a tiny sprinkle, hit Add, and choose Curve Repeater. By default, it forms a straight line, so I'll start by increasing the count to stack the sprinkles vertically. Then, I'll switch to spiral mode and adjust the twist angle to add more layers. The offset option changes the spiral radius. Scale option allows you to change the size of each object, while angle offset rotates the spiral along the curve axis. Next, let's add more control points to the curve so that it aligns with the shape of the ice cream. After some adjustments, the spiral follows the ice cream shape nicely. Turning on 2-side radius, we can shrink the top radius and make it into a cone shape. Now, let's bring in some randomness. I'll check the Randomize option, uncheck Scale, and tweak translation and rotation for a more organic look. Some sprinkles are floating in the air, so I'll validate the spiral, join all the instances in the spiral group, and use the Move tool to align them on the ice cream surface properly. Now, our ice cream is topped with randomly placed sprinkles. For our last example, let's add sprinkles to a donut using the Radial Repeater. I'll start by selecting a sprinkle, hitting Add, and choosing Radial. In the radial settings, I'm increasing the sprinkle count, but you might notice that nothing changes. That's because the radial path is initially set to revolve around the sprinkle's starting position with a radius of 0. To create a proper radial arrangement, select the original sprinkle under the radial group and move it away from its initial position. This movement determines the radius of the radial pattern while keeping the center fixed. To properly position the entire sprinkle group around the donut, go back to the outliner, select the radial group instead of an individual sprinkle, and move it into place. If you need to adjust the radius further, simply select one sprinkle from the group and move it outward to expand the radial spread. Once the placement looks good, return to the radial group settings, and let's apply some randomization to the sprinkles for a more natural effect. To randomize the arrangement, I'll uncheck Scale, increase rotation and translation, and add more sprinkles. Some of them are floating in the air because they're being randomized along all 3 axes. To fix this, I'll click the XYZ setting and reduce the green axis to 0, so they stay aligned on the donut's surface. Now, I'll add another layer of sprinkles in a different color using the same process. And there we have it. We've successfully used random repeaters to add toppings to our desserts in Nomad Sculpt. Now it's your turn. Try experimenting with these repeaters and see what fun designs you can create. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want to learn more about anime character sculpting and 3D modeling, don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching and happy sculpting!